Welcome everyone back to weekly weather updates. And today we're going to have a look at the tropical maps again. And we're going to look at what tropical disturbances, hurricanes, tropical storms we have currently. As there's quite a lot of significant development, especially in the Atlantic. And there's a hurricane heading your way if you're on the eastern coast of America. So I'll have a look at that in a minute. So currently in the Central Pacific there's no tropical cyclone activity. So there's nothing really going around Hawaii or anything. So it's nothing in the Eastern Pacific either. That little disturbance we had there never really developed. The one we looked at a couple of days ago. So that's good. And if we have a look at the Atlantic, we've got a lot of development going on. Well, first of all, look at this this little disturbance. So we've got a tropical wave, which is heading towards the Caribbean. So in the next 48 hours, there's 0% chance, they say. In 5 days, there's a 50% chance, so there could be quite rapid development with this as it heads over islands in the Caribbean towards the land. So it does look like there's potential for some rapid development. I wouldn't expect it to become anything too significant, but maybe a tropical storm, and we'll have to keep an eye on that and have a look at its exact track once it does develop. But there's something you have to keep an eye on. With them giving it a 50% chance formation through 5 days shows you that they're expecting within the next few days there to become very favourable conditions for development, because there is no chance right now. So we'll have to keep an eye on this the disturbance. In the end, it could come to nothing, but again, we'll have to keep an eye on that. We've got Tropical Depression 10, which is a tropical wave that's already developed. It's only just in the category of a tropical depression. It's quite weak. But it's developing nicely, and it will be heading across the Atlantic. At the moment, I've seen, if we have a look at it, at the moment, it does not look like it will develop to anything too significant. It doesn't really have a lot of a time frame, so it doesn't look like it's going to peter out. So that's quite good. And if we go back a page, we can see that there's now Hurricane Isaias. I still don't know how to pronounce it, but it's got very strong winds now, 85-mile-per-hour winds. So it's Cat 1, and it's moving quite quickly towards Florida. And we'll have a look at its track in a minute. It's quite a large sort of hurricane now. We'll have a look at its winds in a minute. But it's mid-Cat 1. Potentially, it could get to Cat 2 before landfall. But again, we'll have to look at that. It doesn't look like it's been a major hurricane, so no Cat 3, Cat 4, Cat 5, hopefully. But again, these things are very uncertain, so we have to keep an eye on that throughout the next day for any further development. But it does look like it's going to just stay just offshore of Florida and sort of track up the east coast. But it doesn't look like it's actually going to make landfall. So although they're going to get significant impacts in some areas, we'll probably be get the near hurricane force winds, or even hurricane force winds offshore. Inshore, sorry. It does look like it's going to maintain strength because it maintains its water source, its fuel. So I'll have a look at its track now, and as you have a look, we'll look at static images. So here we go. As you can see, a lot of hurricane warnings. It's going to come up the east coast and then turn into a tropical storm before maintaining strength all the way, potentially up to New York and northeastern parts of America, remaining tropical storm. So it could be quite significant by that time. I expect it to be quite a large area of low pressure, having that much time to develop. So it will be quite significant. If we look at wind speed probabilities, you can see that right now it's about 70, 80, 90% chance that there are tropical force winds on the coast of Florida. Again, this can still change, so it doesn't expect it to get towards Florida for another at least 12 to 24 hours. Still a few model discrepancies there, so we have to keep an eye on that. If we have a look at wind speed probability for a hurricane, you can see hurricane force winds are expected to remain mostly offshore, but there's still a 20-30% chance that it does come into the east coast of Florida. And again, we'll have to see exactly what happens with that. If wind history, you can see hurricane force winds are quite a small area, and the tropical storm winds are quite a large area. So it does look like tropical storm winds will be quite widespread, but hurricane force winds perhaps confined offshore, or hopefully offshore at least. But it could still whip up a storm surge, which could impact the coast quite significantly. If we have a look at peak surge, you can see 2 to 4 feet, 1 to 2 feet, so not too significant, but still potentially could flood a few coastal areas. We have to keep an eye on that. Rainfall does look fairly significant, 2 to 4 inches expected widely across the coast, but does look like the heaviest rain of 6 to 10, maybe even 15 inches in that very significant, the centre of the storm will pass. It does look like it will that will remain offshore, so a lot of areas seeing 2 to 4 inches, but it's interesting seeing as it moves further north and east. As I said, it's probably going to be a common broader area of low pressure with those tropical storm winds more confined to the centre. But a broader area will bring broader rain, so 4-6 inches perhaps, quite widely, and most areas seeing at least 1 or 2 inches. So quite a lot of rain we're going to see with this system. Over a widespread area, not significant rain in a short period of time, and in a small area, but quite widespread. It does look like, which is going to be quite significant for some areas. But we'll have to keep an eye on exactly how it develops and whether it does come onshore in Florida or the Carolinas around here. Because if it does, that will decrease its strength and maybe even change its path. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. If we have a look at arrival time winds, this gives you a time frame. So we're not expecting it to really impact anywhere except Florida until really the end of the week, start of next week, and then it will probably clear by mid next week. It'll probably clear most areas and be a post-tropical depression, probably just bring some heavy rain and some gusty winds. So again, first proper hurricane tropical storm for the east coast. Having a look at the Atlantic, does look like there could be quite a lot more to come. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Subscribe, and I'll see you again maybe tomorrow or Monday, depending on what develops.